That this was a scheduled press conference for all media. WBEC radio is not here. WBRK radio is not here. WAMC radio is not here. And the reason that I wanted everyone to know who's here so that we can identify those news organizations that feel that it's important to cover a mayoral candidate and those that don't. Okay, now before I get going with you guys, I got a little bit of a job for you, okay? Not much investigative reporting does go on in the city, but it should, and I got a little job for you, okay? I'd like you to go to the courthouse and ask them what their policy for hearing criminal charges are. They, themselves, and all attorneys I have talked to who practice in the Pittsfield District Court all say that they have not ever been involved in a clerk magistrate's hearing that hasn't been closed to the public. Why was my case heard in open public? And I'd like to also have the camera pan onto Mr. Garver for a moment.
Sir,
David?
I gotta object right here.
I'm giving you credit. I'm giving you credit now.
Can you listen?
You got the picture?
I've got security
Have you got
issues.
the picture?
No, I don't.
Okay, if you got the picture, you can leave, because this is the reporter, right? All I'm trying to say is, at the courthouse, Mr. Garver should have been allowed to go in the courtroom. He attempted to go in the courtroom, and he was stopped. A call to the police chief afterwards indicated that the press was welcome at that hearing. So I've been interrupted by Mr. Garver, but I want to say that one more time. Mr. Garver showed up at the courthouse, and rightfully so, because I had asked the press to come to the courthouse, and he was told that he could not come in the courthouse. The court guard told me that he was calling the police chief, Michael Wynn, and of course the police chief waited quite a while to get back, but it was determined that Mr. Garver could have been there. So this is critically important for this situation, okay? Now, this is a task for the press to go to do investigating reporting as soon as you leave here today. I could have made a motion to have the case thrown out and I would win on a technicality, but I don't want to win on a technicality. I want to win on the facts, and I will win on the facts on August 19th in the Pittsfield District Court. Another option I have is to appeal the clerk magistrate's rulings, but this will take too long and I must clear my name so that the public can see that I have been framed and will have the confidence to trust me to earn their vote for mayor in the upcoming election. The press conference officially begins right now. The first were just basically comments. Concerning the charges against me, they are plainly false, and it will be proven beyond any doubt on August 19th in Pittsfield District Court. These same charges against me, which were trumped up by the Gang of Four, Bianchi, Collingwood, Police Chief Wynn, and Chief Swinski of the Fire Department, will be the same charges that will bring them down. It is no secret that I consider Mayor Bianchi one of the worst mayors of all time in this city. He has no concern for the little guy and has thrust the city into a hole that is going to take every bit of my energy to dig us out of. He knows that facing me in any debates, which I pray will happen, he has no chance of ever escaping my identifying him as being one of the worst mayors in the city of Pittsfield. This smear campaign is basically his orchestra. He is the leader. With these false charges, he has consistently blocked me from going to 2 water filtration plants that I co-designed, co-built, and co-invented with my 2 colleagues, Dr. Milos Crofta and Dr. Lawrence Wong. Okay. Yes, I have been blocked by Mayor Bianchi and Mr. Collingwood from entering the 2 water filtration plants that I co-invented, co-designed, and co-built. After building of the Pittsfield facilities, I was successful in selling to 4 other municipalities in the United States, saving our combined customers over $250 million by these individual communities using our crafted patented sand floors. Okay? Now, he knows that, I'm going to go back to this one again, David. He knows that facing me in any debates, which I pray will occur, will be his undoing. He has marginalized me many times, right up to this smear campaign, and that he has orchestrated with these false charges. He has consistently blocked me from going to the 2 water filtration plants, which I co-designed, co-invented, and co-built with my colleagues Dr. Milos Crofton and Dr. Lawrence K. Wong, for no understandable reason whatsoever, except to try to marginalize me anytime he can. He has also bullied and lied about information I gave to the press regarding my treatment at his hands. It is also no secret that I have made it very clear to the media that when I am mayor, I will also be firing Police Chief Wynn, Fire Chief Zawinski, because they were complicit in this smear, and I will let details of this smear out to the public a little at a time on my TV show on Fridays at 10 a.m., 1:30 p.m., and 5 p.m. every Friday on PCV Channel 16. The police chief and the fire chief feel they are not accountable to the taxpayer, and I have seen them in action in how they treat the taxpayer as they have treated me, a major taxpayer and concerned citizen, and also a mayoral candidate. If they will treat me like this, knowing that I may be their boss, how would they treat the little guy with no money and no connections and in great fear of reprisals? For just these reasons, I will be firing them on January 3rd when I become the mayor. I am running on a platform to return this city to the rightful owners, the taxpayers. In me, the residents will know that their mayor hears them loud and clear, and I will be only the body sitting in the mayor's seat in the office. The residents will be my boss. I will be their servant. It's as simple and plain as that. Lastly, I will also be firing DPW Commissioner Bruce Collingwood, as I consider him one of the weakest DPW commissioners I have ever seen here, and I have lived here lifelong. He is the responsible party who has kept Dr. Wong and myself, my scientific partner, out of our own plants, and such actions has cost the city of Pittsfield tens of millions of dollars by forcing Dr. Wong and I to cancel our speech to the American World Water Association meetings in April, which would have positioned Pittsfield as the first city to use the world's most advanced technology on the face of the earth, with 30 years of operating experience in the 2 Pittsfield plants. Just our speech there would have brought engineers and scientists from all over the world to see our technology, as they came when we first built the plant, as Pittsfield was our first municipal customer and first flotation plant built in the entire world. All the glory now will go to New York City, which is using Crofter-type technology to build the world's largest drinking water filtration plant on Earth, with a savings to the taxpayer there of over $40 billion with a B. Boston also is in construction of a $3.9 billion project. Dr. Wong and myself were the teachers of the lead engineers for both projects when they attended our school at the Lennox Institute for Research in 1982. All of this loss is on the shoulders of this mayor. The smear campaign was designed to destroy my chance of becoming mayor, but it won't work. I will be exonerated. I will give details of the smear at the appropriate time, and I, who am the champion of the taxpayer, will win the mayoral race by a landslide. City of Pittsfield residents, hold on. 6 months will go by fast. I know that the majority of you out there do not want this new high school, which was shoved down your throat by the mayor and this city council. But if I win the mayoralty, I will do all in my power to kill the new THS project, and I will show you alternatives which will save you, the taxpayer, tens upon tens upon tens of millions of dollars in suggestions I will have for solving the THS problem. I saved you $150 million in the 1980s, and I will save you many, many more millions if you will make me your mayor. Thank you, city residents. I will not fail you. A vote for me is a vote for you. It can't be any simpler than that. Okay? And of course, there are many, many people going around questioning my resume and so forth that I put out there many, many months ago. All I can tell you is that it is 100% true. Many, many people doubt whether I worked with Colin Powell. It's absolutely 100% true. I have a letter where I can detail that we work together daily, and I will be putting that out at the appropriate time if necessary. Okay? I also did work with President Johnson at the White House, at the Pentagon, when he was briefed at the Pentagon in Washington in the late 1960s, and two of my immediate bosses were both Joint Chief members, Generals Creighton Abrams and Generals Williams Westmoreland. Okay, all factual. I worked for a group called ACSI, A-C-S-I, Assistant Chiefs of Staff of Intelligence. Our group was attached to the Americal Division headquarters in Chulai, Vietnam. Our sole purpose was to interrogate prisoners, determine how the war should be run, and then simply give information to only two groups. The Joint Chiefs, of which Major Powell at that time was Major Powell. Okay, he worked for the Tactical Operation Controls there, Joint Chiefs, and we reported to his group, and there's only one other person that actually reports to. That's the President of the United States. How sure am I that I'm going to be exonerated on these trumped up false charges? Anyone who's a betting person, put everything you got on it that I'll be exonerated. And also, these exact charges that have been leveled against me will be the charges that will sink Mayor Bianchi, Police Chief Wynn, Fire Chief Zerwinski, and maybe Mrs. Tyre. I don't know yet. All I can tell you is this. Her good buddy and boyfriend, Barry Claremont, was at that hearing in court last Thursday. Take a guess why he may have been there, okay? And also, I know very, 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 very factually that Police Chief Wynn and Mrs. Tyre are very, 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 very close, okay? And what he has been trying to do to me leads me to believe that through her close connections, she's getting a lot of pleasure out of this, okay? But let me make it clear. If the city of Pittsfield residents vote with their brain, I will be a landslide victor in the coming election. All you need to do if you want to find out more about me, and I want all members of the press that are here today to put it in capitalized letters in your reports, that the TV shows that I host are on Fridays at 10 a.m., 1:30 p.m., and 5 p.m. That's the conduit to the public. Mrs. Tyre and Mayor Bianchi had access to this show. All they had to do is take the pledge that I myself took, that I proposed, that we get rid of all the campaign hocus pocus, mirrors, and nonsense, fundraisers, putting in personal money, lawn signs, and paid political advertising, okay? Jack the Ripper could run and do all those things and get elected. Craig Gaetani is a one-man show. You're at my headquarters here today. I have one campaign worker that shows up on my TV show. Everything I do, anything you hear, comes directly from me, okay? Now, one more time. My TV show is on Fridays at 10 a.m., 1:30 p.m., and 5 p.m. Because I myself took the pledge, I will not spend one dime in this election so that I can show potential candidates in the future that if you have a brain, you don't have to worry about money. I am showing everybody, also by my press conference here today, that without spending a penny, a candidate can get all the coverage they need. And you people here today will be covering me every time I call a press conference, because I told you earlier that I will be letting all the specifics of the smear campaigns out in future press conferences and on my TV show. Has the press been remiss in carrying and covering me ever since I've been in the city of Pittsfield campaigning since August of 2014? Absolutely. You hold a lot of the blame, members of the press. I've appeared at that city council for the last 14 months, time after time after time. I've produced many and many of petitions to the city council that were thrown in the garbage can by another stooge, Mrs. Mazzio, which were all for the benefit of the taxpayer. Those ditched petitions that Mrs. Mazzio threw in the garbage can, I have, and it will become the center point of my campaign. And every week on my TV show, I will be bringing up a couple of those petitions, okay? And then let the public see who's out there to do their bidding, okay? Let me ask the press one more time, and let them ask the public in their media, what have they heard from Bianchi as pertains to the coming election? What have you heard from Mrs. Tyre other than a blight, okay? B-L-I-G-H-T, and blight, and blight, and blight, okay? And you people, generally, whenever she holds a press conference, everybody goes there, and her picture's on the front page of the paper and all. But I know tomorrow that this people here at the Berkshire Eagle, that my picture will be on the front page of the Eagle tomorrow, because it is a must. I have to get this situation cleared up, because the election is only 40 days away. And of course, there are other things that you people need to know. I hate to come to the side of Mayor Bianchi, but I have let it be known in all the media, and none of you have covered it, that I do support Bianchi's request to change the election date from September 22nd, and as a champion of the taxpayer who will do only those things that are in the interest of the taxpayer, I have to show the Jewish community that Craig Gaetani hears them. The mere fact that the last 2 hours of those elections fall during the Jewish holidays, that's enough for me to ask that the elections be changed, not to a later date, but to an earlier date before September 15th. I want the Jewish community to realize that I hear them, and I hear everybody else. I hear from the poor and support them. I hear from the middle class and I support them. And I hear from the rich and I support them. Craig Gaetani is a man who grew up in Pittsfield, have traveled the world in my business, and have always considered the city of Pittsfield the place that I love, and the place that I will die, and the place that I'll be buried in. But I see our city in great turmoil. I'm a doer, okay? As one need only take a look at the 2 water filtration plants that I built, that you will get to see soon when I become mayor, and other facilities that I've built throughout the world, and the stellar career I had in the military, and the mere fact that I graduated from the colleges with degrees in biology and chemistry with honors. I'm somebody who knows what I am doing. And the only purpose for me running for mayor is to let the people out in the public know that their man, Craig Gaetani, in that office at City Hall, is sitting there waiting to hear from you to tell me what you want done, and more importantly, what you don't want done. One more time, one last item, the Taconic High School. The Berkshire Eagle did a couple surveys of note recently. One was the circus in Dalton, Massachusetts. If you were to read the paper and letters to the editor and so forth, you would have think that the circus would have been run out of town forever. The Eagle poll showed shortly before the elections there that the people in Dalton wanted the circus by a plurality of 2-1. And after the election, the plurality was 2-1. The only other election whereby the city residents in Pittsfield have had their voice heard as regards to Taconic High School was another poll done by the Berkshire Eagle of 400 people, and by a margin of 4-1, the people said they did not want that Taconic High School. You people out there, I'm just your candidate today for mayor. But I want you to realize that Craig Gaetani misses nothing. I heard that 4-1, okay? And that means that you're against that Taconic High School. And I have come out publicly and let it be known that if I were the mayor today, we would not be building Taconic High School. And even when I become mayor, anything that I might be able to do to put a halt to it, I will, because I have heard you, Pittsfield. I have heard you. You don't want it. And I'm trying to show you the type of mayor that I'm going to be. That what you want, you will get, and what you don't want, you won't get. So this will be televised on my show Friday. Parts of it, maybe the whole thing, I haven't decided. But the thing is this, I want other candidates for public office in the future to realize, and this goes directly to you people in the city of Pittsfield, I am very, very wealthy. If I wanted to buy the election, I could buy it with my pocket change. But what would I be? I would be just like the GOB networks and so forth that have purchased all the last elections in the last 40 years. I want to show you that if you get educated, you don't even have to get educated, but if you have a good brain and good thoughts, you can do what I'm showing you I'm doing right now. I haven't spent a penny on the election. I don't plan to spend a penny on the election, and I will be the mayor. And this will be a sign for all of you that Mr. Gaetani has another way to ensure that we get the best candidates and they don't have to be rich. Okay? And I will close one more time here. We'll go back to the courts, okay? Isn't it ironic that in the courts, many, many lawyers that I've talked to and asked about clerk magistrate hearings when there are criminal charges, every last one that I talked to said that whenever they handled a case like that, they were heard in closed session, okay? The question I have for the press, and I stated it earlier before the formal press conference, is that when you leave here to get over there and do the public a service and find out why it is that some people's charges, criminal charges, are heard in closed court while others are heard in open court. And mind you, I could go over there and win on a technicality because they were illegal in my opinion. They probably will be able to dig up some little tiny thing, fine line somewhere, but when I become mayor, all those fine lines are going to be amplified so that the citizen sees exactly what their rights are in this city. And I'm a person who simply is concerned about the taxpayer and the general public, okay? I don't need to be here running for mayor of the city of Pittsfield. I could be living on the French Riviera, okay? And many, many other places, but I love Pittsfield too much to let it go down the tubes. And so here I am, residents of the city of Pittsfield, ready to go to work on day one. And we'll be firing 4 individuals on day 1. Police Chief Wynn, Fire Chief Zawinski, Mr. Collingwood, and of course I'll be getting rid of the mayor when I'm elected mayor myself. Thank you, residents of the city of Pittsfield. Any questions?
Yeah, I have one. The charges.
Wait a second now. Let me ask you a question, okay? When Mrs. Tyre had her press conference, okay? Did you go?
Yeah.
Did you ask her any questions?
Yeah.
You did? Okay. What kind of questions?
Questions I needed for my story.
Yeah. About blight?
Yeah.
Anything else? Blight? Anything other than blight? Okay, good enough.
Stay on top.
Good enough. Good enough.
So,
Now I will answer your question, okay?
So these charges, you know, what was your sort of, what happened from your opinion that led to these charges? Was there an
Andy,
incident
let's put it this way, my friend, okay? As you probably realize, I cannot say much else because it's a continuation, okay? The bottom line is this. In original charges, it's just show cause, okay? They try to see if there is enough evidence to let the case proceed further, okay? And in my opinion, there was not enough evidence, okay?
Well,
And of course,
did you threaten him?
did I threaten what?
Did you threaten a city employee?
Absolutely not.
What did you say to the city employee?
What I would say to any city employee. I called and I asked about the problem I was having at the fire department was I had contacted the fire department 9 times about an illegal car in my complex at Indian Street that they had tagged before, okay? And the car was never removed. And so I went to see a Mr. Stein, a very, very rude individual at the fire department, and he said he was very busy, but he would get to it. So about 5-6 weeks went by, and I went over to the fire department to see the people personally, okay? And on one of the occasions there, I saw the fire chief, and he promised me that they were very busy and they would be getting to it, okay? And after a couple of weeks, car's still there. I go to see him, make a long story short, 3-4 more times, okay? Guess what? Anyone here want to guess where the car still is? Take a guess, Andy. At my property in 19 Indian Street. It's a service of a taxpayer. It is the right of a taxpayer to call the fire department and have illegal cars taken from their property. Okay? It's that simple. Do you understand that now? Mm-hmm. Okay, good. All right? Now, what did I say to the people? Just what I told you now when I called each time. Hey, what's the problem? And I might get a little bit hot and yell a little bit on the telephone. Wouldn't you, after 9 requests and 4 visits? But to tell somebody I'm going to burn their house down or shoot them is completely ridiculous. Totally ridiculous and completely unfounded, okay? And that's about all I can say to you now, with the exception that I will be exonerated on August 19th. The only way that I will not be exonerated if that one chance in a billion strikes. That's the only way I will be charged. If that one strike in a billion hits me, then that's the only way that I'll be charged, okay? Any other questions from anybody?
Well, sort of going back to what you just said there, August 19th, that's an arraignment. So do you...
Not an arraignment. From what I understand, it's at the clerk magistrate's hearing,
Mm-hmm.
you go to the next level.
Right.
And from cases that I myself have dealt with in
Mm-hmm.
the past, when a clerk magistrate finds that there's enough evidence, then it goes before a judge.
Right. Okay. So presuming the paperwork is accurate and
Mm-hmm.
August 19th is an arraignment, how do you expect an exoneration at an arraignment? Do you
Well,
expect
I don't know if it's an arraignment, okay?
Okay.
What I'm saying to you is I'm hoping it's not just an arraignment because I'm prepared to solve the case right then and there. Why bother with an arraignment? Okay? I'll be bringing witnesses and so forth, and of course, this is exactly what Bianchi and the police chief and the fire chief are hoping, to have these charges be hanging over my head going right into the election. But let me say it again for the press. Let's make sure you get this, okay? I don't know what's coming up in the courtroom. If it's an arraignment, I would suggest that the court decide, because I'll be bringing some witnesses, to hold the case right then and there. I'm going to plead innocent and prove my innocence right then and there. And that should be the end of it, okay? Now, the legal mumbo-jumbo that goes on in the courts and all, if by some remote chance I lose the election, my next campaign will be to straighten out the courts. The courts are a mess, okay? A total mess, okay? It's pretty much like going and having a crapshoot when you go into court. You get a judge who looks at you, likes you, you win, whether you got good evidence or not. You go before one with a pat case, and they don't like you, and you lose. And you don't have much recourse, okay? Believe me, that's the way the courts are. And if you think not, take a good look at what goes on in the state and federal courts, okay? We can't change that, okay? Money owns those courts. But we can change our local courts, or at least try. And of course, I told everybody I'm a doer, and I will try to change what I feel are wrong over there. What is wrong over there? There are lots of wrongs, okay? Lots of wrongs. But let me make it clear. Anything that the court can do on August 19th to listen to me and my witnesses, to exonerate me right then and there, will be great. Of course, if they decide to just arraign me, then of course my court date and all will come up well beyond the September 22nd and November 3rd primary, and they will they will try to sink me. And it is the job of you people, the press here today, to get out that that's what I don't want, okay? Because that is the same kind of a smear campaign foisted against a person named Donna Walto. Anyone recognize that name? Recognize that name?
Yeah,
do you recognize that name? Jonathan, do you recognize that name?
She is
Sir, do you recognize?
On the ballot.
Do you recognize that name? What's your first name?
Bob.
Bob, do you recognize that name? Okay. So the bottom line is this. What can I say about Mrs. Walto? Well, I don't think an individual can graduate from Williams with honors and be stupid. That's enough said about it. Why do I say that? You know why I say that, Andy? In my job at Croft Engineering, okay, whenever we needed attorneys, we lost. Whenever I went and handled a case, we won. Okay?
So getting back to something you said earlier about questions about your resume, if you have this documentation to support,
You saw it. You did it all in the ego. It's all in the ego.
Okay. Well, no, you said you were going to release information.
It's already been released. It's been on my TV shows. All I got to do is get back to the TV shows and see them. Okay.
But this appropriate time to release information you were talking about, why not release everything ahead of the election?
Not that. The appropriate time on the court cases, the charges. The charges.
Mm-hmm.
I have released my resume in your newspaper. It's all out there, okay? It's all out there.
But you said there were questions about your resume, but you have supporting documents to counter those objections.
Of course, and I'll tell you what some of those questions are. Have I graduated from college, okay? Was I an executive at Croft Engineering Corp? Was I also the person that brought all right, now this here has been, actually what I'm about to show the press here today was given to Mayor Bianchi, and I asked him to please put this plaque up in the Cleveland water plant, one of the two plants that I built, okay? Now,
Who presented that to you?
City of Pittsfield. All right, now, is there anybody here that wants me to answer any more questions about my involvement in the Crofton project, okay? Solid as a rock, okay? Resume solid as a rock. Read this. Okay, get the let Andy get a look at it. Secretary of the Army, okay? Okay? And Ben, you got to stay for 10 seconds more, okay? I'd like you to read who that's addressed to and who sent it. Let me explain to you about this situation, okay? I never even knew, to show you how it goes in the military, why he doesn't remember names. I knew him as Major Powell, and of course I probably to him was just Specialist Gaetani. That's it. And a lot of times they don't even give you the last name, you say Specialist. 3 or 4 years ago, a guy that was a captain called me. He retired as a general, okay? And he said, I've been trying to get hold of you, Craig, for 40 years. But you have to realize, we all work for Army intelligence, okay? We all hold top secret crypto clearances, the highest clearance in the world. They try to hide us as great as possible, and probably somebody like you, Ben, for security reasons, can understand this, okay? But he called me, and we cried our eyes out because we went through many things together. Then he says this to me, what did you think about Powell? I said, you mean Captain Powell? He was a captain earlier, but before he left, he got his rank bumped up to major. I said, yeah, I remember Major Powell. And he says to me, what do you think? I said, what do you mean? I said, what's he up to? When he told me that that was Colin Powell, I near dropped dead. So it goes to show you that you can work with each other in the military, and because you only refer to each other by rank, you don't even know the people's names.